Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back in session 2, dear students. Earlier in the first session, we discussed about in detail about uh, our work plan and course outline, its objectives, its components in detail. And also, I introduced you about the teacher evaluation system and process. Here and again, I would like to discuss about by posing a question. Why do we teach? And how do we know we are teaching well? Is our students' success our success? So a common answer to all these questions is there is a criteria, there is an instrument that measures that our students feel that we are teaching well. And ultimately, student success is our success, is a teacher success, because in the result of their learning, strategies teacher adopted, they are involved in the class, they go for better learning. And to answer the question why we teach is to facilitate, to be a problem solver, to guide the students towards their problems regarding understanding and learning of different of the terminology, different of the components. So to answer these all three questions, I think so. It's a cyclic process. It never stops. Continuously, we go for different ideas, different methodologies, different philosophies. So much so for different strategies and techniques. And finally, how we can know that we are doing fine. Any of the inspector, any of the evaluator, any of the person who have to look after the matters of teaching and learning, designated as evaluator, and the process and the system that comprised of this process is known as evaluation. So the teacher evaluation system explores and gives feedback about the teacher's performance. If we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. John Dewey said, I think so. It's a strong philosophy and a lesson by following which we can actualize the things as stated within commas here. Why evaluate? Teaching and learning policy as a policy matter, teachers have to prepare schemes of studies discussed at different forums, approved by different bodies, and implemented by departments and faculties. And the more relevant person in this process is teacher. All other are supporting, facilitating in the shape of direction, in the shape of guidelines, and also in the shape of motivation. So the extent up to which this process is actualized and motivational level of the teacher is accordingly impacts on the learning of students. Rather, it is infrastructure, classroom environment, library, access to the online material and resources, books, curricular and extracurricular activities, whole of the campus life plays a vital role towards the learning of the students. But ultimately, the learning towards learning, the crucial role is of teacher. So teaching and learning is a process that is executed in the classroom in an environment where that is conducive to learning, in an environment that is created by the good governance, and it's a policy matter. So the review of this policy can be done if teaching and learning processes are regularly evaluated towards making some highlights, identifying some problems, identifying some gaps, and rectifying the hindrances faced by the learner and the teacher. Policy is reviewed, upgraded, modified, and then finally implemented. So this all this process is meant for to encourage and enable staff and students to take co-responsibility for the quality of the learning experience provided. Because quality matters, so to make sure to maintain the quality standards, to provide the better sources and market oriented uh, content and delivery processes, all these experiences are the core responsibility of students, teachers, and all of the staff that is in the campus. Therefore, the evaluation is made by students of the teachers towards the delivery of content, towards material, stand of the material, towards punctuality, towards the time consumption, towards the uh, professional habits opted by the teacher. Accordingly, students are evaluated by the teachers up to what extent they have learned, and on the basis of this assessment and evaluation, they are awarded different grades and promoted in the next semesters. No doubt, the remaining component, that is the staff, that might be administrative staff, support staff, financial stakeholders, quality stakeholders are also needed to be evaluated to see that rather they are providing all those sources for which they are responsible, are they up to mark or of what quality? That's why the evaluation process is part and parcel of any of the organization to look into the performance and quality of its products. Moreover, evaluation is also made or conducted to create and sustain a responsive learning environment conducive to excellence in teaching and learning and fostering holistic student success. So the ultimate motive is the success of students. Evaluation is a process wherein one's teaching encourage academics to engage in a process which has become known as reflective practice, which entails using one's experience as an opportunity to consider both one's teaching philosophy and practice. So, on the basis of the teaching philosophy, some practices are experienced that are reflective, or these reflects towards the learning status of the students. So, to look after all this process from its base to the delivery stage is meant for teachers encourage. It encourage the teachers towards its academic engagements. As here in this diagram, you can see there is a lens through which what the person doing, he is evaluating himself. You hands him academic view. So through this lens, there is a self-evaluation process. So teachers do make their self-evaluation as well, or otherwise the outside evaluators, external evaluators also guide them and inform them to the status of their performance. In the second diagram, where there is no lens in his or her hand, you can see there is written, not that sort of deep reflection type. So where there is the mirror, it have the reflection and you can assess what the shortcomings are there and how you have to uh, wake up to the required to meet the needs. Other than any reflection and any mirror, the things go on as usual and they cannot identify any of the shortcomings about him or her. Different researchers have their own observation, their own standpoint about the evaluation. As one of them says that evaluation is a prerequisite to improving teaching, is having an effective way to evaluate it. A valid evaluation of teaching is based on a portfolio So, with on the point that a valid evaluation of teaching is based on a portfolio containing assessment data from multiple sources. कौन-कौन से multiple sources हैं? ये different scales के नाम हैं जिनसे डाटा ये इकट्ठा किया जाता है. Rating from students. Ultimately उन्हें rating के लिए कोई हम evaluation form देते हैं, कोई scale देते हैं जिस पे वो चीजें fill करते हैं. From peers again, administrators and self-rating. So these are the four modes of collecting data about the portfolio of the teacher, from where the researchers say that evaluators or evaluation can be made effectively. इससे होता क्या है? It reflects on every aspect of teaching, including course design, classroom instruction, assessment of learning, advising and mentoring. तो ये सारे 4-5-6 जो कंपोनेंट बताए गए हैं, इन पे कंप्राइज डिफरेंट क्वेश्चंस या रेटिंग्स बनाई जाती हैं, रेटिंग स्केल पे या इन्वेंटरी बना ली जाती है. तो इन 4 लोगों से इस पे डाटा इकट्ठा करके जो ट्रेंड बन रहा हो उस ट्रेंड को हाईलाइट करके, so it is declared that up to what extent the teaching aspect or the course designing or the instructions level of the teacher stands, where they stand. A successful evaluation is that which is valid. That means it should be, it's all 4 components of validity should be met: phase validity, construct validity, content validity, and intent validity. Similarly, it should be reliable. Reliable, it should meet the definition of reliability. Wherever and whenever any of the person go for some to see the reliability, it should be reliable. Indicates directions and actions for improvement. Ultimately, successful evaluation is that from where it is reflected that what are the directions of improvement, in which directions the class or teacher or the students have improved their learning, their teaching process, and what actions had been taken towards improvement. Also, which teaching practice are more effective than others in specific context, because it is also comparable within the strategies or practices adopted by the teacher. So it is reflected through this rating scale, this evaluation. If it is reflected that which of the specific context में कौन सी practice जो है more effective है, then it must be said that the this certain evaluation is a successful evaluation. Accordingly, responsibility for each individual academic. Yes, if the evaluation report or the process depicts that, it make the responsible have take responsibility about the individual's academics, so it is a successful report. What are the benefits of evaluation? What happen in its results? It improves the teaching and learning experiences for students and academics. Engagement in scholarly review of teaching. It promotes professional development through professional conversations. It provides the individual student with an opportunity to offer constructive criticism to his or her lecture. It provides the student body with a voice in developing and maintaining an effective lecturing and curriculum. It provides the individual academic with data that may be used in support of his her considerations for promotion. Here, the promotion of teacher and the student both, but necessarily it is about the promotion of teachers. Promotion mean their upgradation, their level upgradation, their designation, and their seniority. It provides the data to benchmark teaching and learning quality within and beyond the organizations. It provides data that may assist in making curricular designs. It provides evidence that academics can use an indicator of teaching performance. So these multiple indicators are highlighted on the basis of which people can make some strategies and design their future planning and go for certain actions to be taken for better quality. So book fields for lenses, you can see here is a lens where you can see the self-reflection, students, colleagues, and literature, some source of data for evaluating teaching and courses. तो टीचिंग कोर्सेज की एवेल्युएशन के लिए जिस सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन आप बात देखें, वो जितना लेंस के करीब है उतना माइन्यूटली उसको ऑब्जर्व कर रहा है, और उसका साइज आप देख सकते हैं, उस पर रिटर्न फिगर देख सकते हैं कि किस तरह वो हाईलाइट हो रही है. जितना डिस्टेंस इफ पे है वो आर्टिकल, उतना ही उसका साइज लार्ज होता जा रहा है. सो इट मीन्स दैट if the process of evaluation is taken minutely, then the things are highlighted much better, and the reflections can be identified to pursue the further proceedings. A process of self-evaluation based on think, act, and reflect. It is a cyclic process. All the time, teachers think about the betterment and improved performance, and on the basis of that benchmarking, they actualize them, put these ideas into practice, and finally, they see their uh, reflection of their input in the result of learning of their students, and they review it. If there is something to be added, they again add in this ingredient and go for another action and see the reflection. It does not stop and it has not boundaries. This process is ongoing process and carried out through the uh, semester, through the system, and till the people are in the department and serving and are teaching. Students' feedback is in the form of some questionnaire. They can be served some certain questionnaire on different rating scale, and they can reply, and finally the collected data in numbers can be analyzed and can be categorized into different categories A, B, C, D. Small group instructional diagnosis also is a rating scale, and 1 minute paper mean in 1 minute people are served a paper and pencil and asked that write in 1 minute about that teacher. What are the strengths and weaknesses of that certain teacher in your mind? Then and also the evaluator may himself do this. So it their observation, their highlights guide towards the better process of evaluation. Evaluation is valuable but subjective. It can ask questions in the class. इंस्पिरेशन होती है स्टूडेंट्स को, मेक मी वांट टू वर्क बाय माई सेल्फ. सो थ्रू evaluation process, teacher got valuable feedback, and that is subjective, so they can make better their component, their shortcomings that are presented in the pieces from the observers. So not as a whole, where they're in the process, they have some mistakes, they can be rectified. Uh, Peer teaching and observation. It is good practice for peer evaluation to be a planned and structured process involving these separate stages. It also starts, it's a cyclic process and starts from pre-observation. People do have some sort of conference and they discuss the components to be observed, and accordingly people perform. Observation is made, post observation feedback is provided to the teacher, and seek the reflection and go for again pre-observation. So it's ongoing process. Through this process people are making observations and giving feedback, and teachers reflection are being uh, much clarified and extended. In literature, you can see as SOTL, teacher is there to standing in front of the projector, and through projector some of the PowerPoint lecture she is delivering with the highlighter she is in the process to explain. This is also reflects the process observation up to what what extent she is committed towards his delivery of lecture. Oh, which one? Why only pick one? Because there are prevailing different practices and procedures for the evaluation. So might be out of them only one will be the most effective. And how it can be decided that which one will be that which have to be picked, or why only one? Why not the multiple? So on the following, on the base of following characteristics, it is necessary. It can be done. Which one have to be picked and why that one? So consider obtaining students' feedback, conducting SGID and other focus group, interviewing techniques, setting up a peer review, requisiting teaching observations, finding literature on teaching and learning, deciding how to respond to feedback you have received, building a profile. So on the basis of these uh, six characteristics, evaluators can decide that which one process is the more effective and sufficient process of evaluation, and what are the grounds on which they can pick that that one. A good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others unknown. Definitely, uh, he himself evolved in depth with the process of teacher and learning, and enlightening his or her students for their achievements, and their achievements are the reflection of the teacher. We are aware that most of us and most of the people uh, uh, pay homage to their student teachers, that they have guided us in such a reflective and uh, dedicated way that all of our achievements are dedicated to our teachers, because they have learned from them, they have taken the light from them, and teacher has enlightened them with zeal and zest. So that was all about the processes, the understanding of teacher evaluation. I would like to ask you that uh, uh, after going through it and other material uploaded on the Google Classroom, there are three articles about the teacher evaluation processes at the school level, at university level, and a case from a certain university. Then you should make a certain summary comprising of all the key points and components that are taken into consideration while making a teacher evaluation. And finally, you should conclude that according to your point of view, which one process is the more efficient and fit to towards evaluation of the teachers in our system. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.